The proportion of renters is the percentage of renters living in a market compared to all residents in that market. Of all the people that dwell in a suburb, we can try to categorise them into two groups: those who are renting the home they live in and those who bought the home they live in. So if the suburb has a population of, say, 1,000 and 300 of those are tenants, then the proportion of renters would be 30%. The renter proportion can be considered a supply indicator for rental accommodation. As investors, we want high demand from tenants to rent our property and a low supply of alternative rental properties for those tenants to choose from. With a low proportion of rental properties, it means there is less competition among landlords. We don't want to be fighting over the interest of tenants who want to live in that suburb. So the lower the proportion of renters, the better it is for investors. Now, some people have wondered whether the proportion of renters can get too low. It might mean that renters do not want to live there. But analysis of historical data shows that's simply not the case. It's a supply indicator. It doesn't change into a different indicator for lower values. After all, renters are humans too, right? They want the same thing as owner-occupiers. So if owner-occupiers found the suburb good enough to buy in, renters will find it appealing too. So there's no sweet spot for the proportion of renters. The lower, the better. If the proportion of renters is very low, it means the suburb is undersupplied with rental accommodation. Now, if you're ever confused about whether a metric is good or bad, check out the context ruler for that metric. Just remember that green is good and red is bad. The context ruler will also show what average values are, how much the value can deviate from that average. Oh, one last thing, you should be aware that this is a metric derived from census data. Census only comes around once every 5 years, so it's possible in some suburbs for the ratio of renters to have changed significantly since the last census. It's just something to be aware of.